closer and I'll show you. Omi Hopper has Omi Hopper has captivated the hearts of people across the world. She demonstrates her great cooking but her heritage and culture as well. You may have seen her on Instagram Lives, Facebook. She has her own product of sofrito fresquecito in markets throughout Rhode Island. Cooking and heritage. As we celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, it is an honor to have Omi here to share her story. So all yours, Omi.
Thank you, Justette. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being on the call. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know that it is like, in my house is prime time. So if it's prime time in my house, I know it's prime time in yours too. We're busy moms, working moms. So I get it. I totally get it. And so I want to be respectful of all of you, but I want to thank you for being here. And I want to thank Justette for this opportunity, because this is something that I remember kind of struggling with growing up, but I didn't really, give it two thoughts, because that was just how life was, right? As a young girl coming here to the United States, I came to the US when I was 11 years old. I came here with my mom and my stepdad, and we had only one, my stepdad's sister was here, so my aunt was here. And it was very, very new to me, everything from, the schools to the culture to everything. I always felt like I was trying to race to get to know pop culture here in the US, because everything that I learned and that I grew up around in Puerto Rico, it was no more. And I remember, going into classrooms that were set up very differently from the classrooms that I went to in Puerto Rico. And it was very difficult. It was really, and I was in ESL classes. My teachers, they all joked around. So before coming to the US, who remembers the movie The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston, right? So Whitney Houston's Bodyguard, that was the first movie ever that I went to go see at the theaters. And my dad took me right before coming to the US. And you could not tell me that I could not sing I Will Always Love You. It was in English. It was my English. I would tell you that much. And so when I came here, I had my neighbors across the street who were, American completely through and through, did not speak any Spanish. And the only way that I was able to communicate with them was through I Will Always Love You. And that's how we made friends. I would sing and they would rally around and clap. And that was the summer of 1993. And when I went into school that fall of 1993, my teachers were baffled. They were trying to figure out, how do you know how to speak English, but you don't know how to read or write it? And it was because I made those friends when I was, during the summer. So as kids, we adapt. Well, our kids adapt really quick. Our kids are very, very easy to just grab things like a sponge. But of course, then there's the added struggle of the academics, right? So you're having to learn not just a whole new language, but now you're having to also learn the academic side of it. And, I wish some of my teachers would have maybe taken a little bit more time getting to know what my dynamic was at home, right? So because of the fact that I was the one going to school, I was the one learning the language, I was the one, brand new to it all, I also became my mother's professional translator. It was me who was translating letters and translating bills and translating, when we go to the doctor's office, I'm coming to the doctor's office and I'm translating that too. And I didn't know what I was saying half the time, but I had to do it. I remember even as much as, fast forward, all the way to high school, I had to fill out my own FAFSA form. I had to literally fill it out myself because I wasn't really familiar with my guidance counselor and I really didn't have the support at home. And so like having to ask my stepdad and my mom for their financial records and things like of that nature, they're like, ¿Para qué tú quieres eso? What do you want that for? Like all those things are really, really intimidating because you're trying to figure out, okay, but I want an education and I want to continue to go to school, but like, God forbid, if I mess up this form, that's it. It's a wrap for me. So there were a lot of things that I wish my teachers were probably a little bit more keen to, or would have understood about me a little bit more, that would have really helped me. We're in a place now where, fast forward 20 plus years, my kids are fortunate that their schools have so much support around that. They have so much support around, having these conversations and how are you feeling? Are you feeling supported? What are the things that, you're struggling with at home? All of those things, those are things that they now get to experience that I didn't. Not to say, if I can even say this, not to say that it didn't mold me or shaped me into the person that I am today, because I believe that it very much did. I think that it was more, I probably would have, the potential would have been a lot greater had I had that support and had I had that proper guidance, to be quite frank, I did not finish college. I did 2 whole years in, business and administration and business. And I couldn't do it. It became, I needed to work in order to make ends meet. And then I needed to, pay the bills. And then I became addicted to working. And then I worked ever since. And, I always had an entrepreneurial mindset, which is how I ended up going from being in college into working in banking. And I worked in banking for 11 years of my life. And thanks to that, I was able to learn about small business owners and what they actually do in their day-to-day, and setting up their accounts, looking through their financial records and being able to, see some of the things that they needed help with. And so when I had my third son, this was in 2009, that was my second son. Third son, 2011. In 2011, when I had my third son, I could not work anymore because I was paying more money to the babysitter than what I was bringing home. And it just didn't make any sense anymore. And so I decided to stay at home mom. I don't know what it's like to stay at home mom. That's not for everybody. God bless the women who could do it. They are fully, they got all my respect, but that's not for me. And so I lasted all but 6 months. But a friend of mine was getting married, and per usual, just because that's how I was, even in high school, I was very artistic. I discovered artistry in many different forms in high school. And even all those throughout those 11 years of banking, I was always the most made up banker. I always had a full face of glam. I always had a full, bold lip, hair done, blah, blah, blah. And a friend of mine was getting married, and she was like, Omi, can you do my makeup? And I was like, yeah, girl, I got you, no problem. Did her makeup. And then 9 years later, I dedicated myself to being a professional makeup artist. And I learned, to literally from scratch, how to properly apply makeup, the skincare, different types of skin, texture, this, that. But then I turned that into my business. Fast forward 9 years later, after being a professional makeup artist and working for an amazing company in cosmetics and traveling the country with them and being able to do makeup in multiple places, the pandemic hits, and now here we are. My studio, my makeup studio is closed. The store, cosmetic store that I worked for was closed as well. I had no clients. There was nothing else to do. And being a mom with all my kids at home in virtual learning, or distance learning, however you want to call it, I was cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There was no choice. There was nobody else. It was just mom. And so I decided to start recording myself just to pass the time and to not drive my own self crazy. And then the videos took off. I don't even know how to describe it any other way. The videos took off. And so when during that shutdown period and being at home, cooking every day, posting videos every day, and having that entrepreneurial mindset, I think was really where I kind of clicked, put two and two together, and knew that cooking con Omi was no longer a hobby or just something to pass the time. It can truly be a business if I be about my business. So this is how I landed here with you. And that's my story. That's all I got.
You want to take some questions for Omi? Does anybody have questions for her?
Sure. This is hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hi.
Hi. This is Lauren McQueenie. So I missed the end of your introduction. I mean, I missed the beginning of your introduction. I heard the end that you do cooking. Do you have a cooking show, or do you just post it on Instagram or something?
So yeah, so when I started, it's Cooking Con Omi. And when I started Cooking Con Omi, I started really more on TikTok. I feel like everybody during the pandemic, that's where everybody was at, was on TikTok. And I knew for a fact that I couldn't do the dances. I'm like, this is not for me. I don't dance, but I can cook. And so when I started posting the videos, and then, during the pandemic, then TikTok was threatened that it was going to get closed and that they were going to shut it down. I started telling people, please follow me on Instagram. So people started following me on Instagram. But then, of course, you start to learn so many different avenues in which you can create communication with followers and building more opportunities for it as a business, right? So you're no longer just looking at it as this is just a hobby. This is now something that I can really monetize on if I take it seriously and if I respect the platforms, right? Because there's a responsibility that comes with having a specific amount of followers. There's a certain responsibility that should come with that. Not everybody follows that, but we're at an age now where we know it requires. I have Cooking Con Omi on all 4 platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And do you specialize in Puerto Rican cooking?
It's gonna be a little bit of everything, but mainly Puerto Rican cooking. I don't shy away from showing my culture and showing who we are as Puerto Rican people. I believe that I've always said Puerto Ricans are like confetti. We're spread out all over the world. We are like the Puerto Rican confetti. We're everywhere. And we have so much to offer, but because we're so spread out everywhere, there's a lot of things that get lost along the way. There's a lot of things that, even down to when I went to Puerto Rico and I brought my kids, and they've been born and raised here in the US. They didn't automatically recognize that the same way that they say bendición to me when they see me, they have to say it to every other family member over there. So over there, they're hugging, ay, qué lindo, ven acá, un abrazo, a hug. And they're like, hi. And I'm like, no, bendición. So there's such little, tiny little traditions that make us who we are. And it's so like, you wouldn't even think anything of that. But it's part of our tradition. And so I want to make sure that through Cooking Con Omi, which part of the reason why it grew so quickly and part of the reason why Cooking Con Omi became so purposeful to me was because of the fact that I would get messages from families. I would receive messages from a daughter who says, you know what, I've had a strained relationship with my mom for a really long time, and your videos are helping us come together. We're connecting through your videos. I had a father who said, I'm a single dad. My wife passed away recently of cancer, and you're helping me make my boys the meals that she used to make for them. And so those are things that are so impactful that you don't realize that you're doing just through culture, just through food. Like you would think that it's just food, right? But it's so much more than that. And it all has to do with how we carry that and how we communicate that.
Omi, I have a question. Since you are, social media like sensation now, and you obviously have to do a lot of public speaking, what kind of person were you in school? Like, were you a quiet student, or did you speak a lot? Like, how would you say, is it a true reflection of how you were now, like back then to now?
Anyone who's known me since those days, since I came here in the 6th grade. So I was right in the summer of 5th grade into 6th grade. And everyone who's known me since then will tell you this is who I am. This is how I am. In terms of personality, I've always been very just friendly overall. I'm definitely an extrovert. Pandemic was really hard for me, but also I've always enjoyed. So I'll give you an example. This past in August, when I went to Puerto Rico with my family, my grandmother unfortunately passed away at 94. She had a very, very long life. Can't be selfish. But I do remember vividly that every summer from the age of 11 all the way until I was 18, my mom would she would literally ship me to Puerto Rico and keep me over there for 2.5 months completely, the whole summer. And my grandmother and my grandfather had a farm in Rio Grande. And so every time I would go, I was in the farm, helping them with the chickens and the pigs and the cows and the horses. And I learned so much from my grandmother, specifically in the kitchen. In the kitchen, I was with her all the time. I was la nena presenta. I was just always somewhere in a little corner, just watching, always watching. And I came back from Puerto Rico and I was going through my closet and I found a notebook that I wrote when I was 13 of all of her recipes. I had a passion for the kitchen back then, and I never put 2 and 2 together. Like it never clicked to me, that I was always that into kitchen, because I feel like as a Latina, especially as a Puerto Rican woman, Puerto Rican families will show you love through their food. We show love through our food, and it's very important to us, So I think I've been like this all along.
Maria, did you have a question?
Yes. Umi, I love this. I want to show my kids your videos and your cooking shows, clips, and all that goodness. Which platform would you recommend that we go back on? You said Facebook you have, a YouTube channel?
Yes, I would definitely go on Instagram and TikTok, because those two, I will, flat out say it, they've kind of held. I haven't erased any of my videos from the very beginning. Like I've left everything that's on there. I feel like, I could very easily go back and delete those, but they show where I was
And where you are
where I am
now.
now.
Yeah.
And it's I consider it to be such a humbling journey and such an awesome journey that I never want to forget that.
Okay, perfect. So I don't have TikTok, but I can definitely go on Instagram and check it out.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to
I have placed the link to your website as well as your Instagram account in the chat if anybody's interested in following Omi. And I think, does anybody have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Omi, what is your favorite dish? And is there a special connection you have to this dish when you cook it, make it for your family, when you enjoy eating it?
Yes. My favorite dish is pasteles. Pasteles is something that actually my grandmother, that's how she made a living. She made a living making pasteles. She would make them in big batches, and she would sell them in Atorrey in Puerto Rico, like on the highway. Like if you ever go to Puerto Rico, there's gonna be vendors on the street. Are they legal? Probably not, but there are vendors on the street who will sell a ton of food, whether it's, frituras, fried food, or, dishes, whatever it is. And so she did that. She did that for a very, very long time. And now my aunts, I have 4 aunts plus my mom. There's 5 sisters all together, and they all make pasteles. My mom honestly is probably the best one out of all of them. I'm not saying that because she's my mom, but she is. And she taught me how to make them. And so that's definitely 100% traditional, a traditional Puerto Rican dish that I love to make, eat, and I just love that it's a part of my culture.
Awesome. Thank you. Are we ready to have Omi share her recipe with us?
Great. So I do want to do a little introduction to your recipe, because I think, I think teachers need it most. We're super excited to have Omi share a special recipe, a little cafecito, or coffee in English. And, Puerto Rican coffee is strong. So I think we all need it. So if you're not in your kitchen, definitely take out a little notepad and a pen to get this recipe, because it will save us on those busy STO nights and testing and unit assessments. So thank you so much, Omi, and I'll pass the floor to you.
You're so welcome. So I'm gonna flat out tell you something. I remember posting this recipe or recipe similar to this on my Instagram. This was a while back, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, you use the microwave. Why don't you do it the old school way with the, with the Oaxaca and the milk, and you gotta froth it?" And I was like, "Es lo mismo. It's the same thing. But we're gonna do it with the Oaxaca. We're gonna do it." Okay, so I'm gonna show you. And do you know that so every now and again I'll bring my mom over, and she'll stay with me for like a couple of weeks, and I was watching her do a specific dish, alcapurrias. I was watching her make alcapurrias, and she's like, "Búscame la licuadora, get me the blender." And I'm like, "The blender for what, ma?" She was like, "Ay, mija, yo no guayo. Yo uso el blender." Esto no, like she doesn't grate the bananas anymore. She uses the blender. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I was like, mira. So anyway, we're gonna make this the old school way, but just know, if you have a coffee pot and you have one of these little fancy little milk frothers, $20 at Amazon, you're good to go too, okay? But we're gonna make it the old school way. So I have my little cafeterita, my little greca, right? This little guy here, when you want a strong coffee, this is where you gotta go, all right? These guys are also on Amazon if you're ever interested in a greca. It has like three parts, just 3 parts, right? So you've got this top part that wheels off like this. You have your little funnel, right? And then you have this bottom part. Now this bottom part has this little ruedita right here, this little circle over here. You want to put water inside, but you don't want to go over that little circle. You want to leave it under the circle, okay? And when it comes to your coffee, you pick el café que te diga tu corazón. You pick whatever coffee you like, okay? You let your heart decide for you, okay? But you're gonna put about 2 spoonfuls. I always do 2.5 because I always say, en mi cocina mando yo, en la tuya mandas tú. In your kitchen, you're the boss. In mine, I'm my own boss. So we're gonna do this right here. And I like to pack it down a little bit until it looks nice and smooth at the top, right? So now we're just gonna close it up. And we're gonna put this guy on high. Guys, I recently moved and I now have an electric stove. My heart can't take it. My heart seriously can't take. I don't know what it's like to cook on an electric stove. I'm dying a slow death here. Okay. Just to let you know that. Okay. Now I have my little pot. In my little pot, I'm gonna put about 1 cup of milk. This is 2%. You could use whole milk. You could use any kind of milk, but I'm gonna go in with 2%. Some people will even use evaporated milk. Obviously, you don't want to have that all the time because it just messes up the tummy. But we're gonna turn this on. And I like to use regular sugar. You could use brown sugar. You use any sugar you want. I'm gonna use regular granulated white sugar. Now I'm gonna add the amount of sugar that my heart tells me to, okay? It's my coffee, my business. So we're gonna do that. And this is the Oaxaca I was talking about. Oaxaca. I don't know what you call this. What do you call this in English?
A ladle? Do we call that a
Eso
ladle?
mismito.
Or no?
Eso mismito, un ladle. Un ladle. So you let this, you don't even have to do anything to it just yet. You're just gonna let it warm up. Once your milk is getting hot, once your milk gets hot, should be around the same time that your coffee starts to brew. I did put it on high. We're gonna start doing the things that we need to do to make that beautiful froth. You know that it took me a long time to figure out that a latte is really café con leche. Like, I didn't know that a latte is café con leche. That's literally what it is. And I sat there and I'm like, yo quiero un café con leche. I'm like, how come every time I go to Dunkin' or go, any other coffee shop, I just want a café con leche. Like, that's it. Nobody could tell me that it was just a latte. So in case you didn't know that, I'm telling you that now. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. So it's funny because when you go to Puerto Rico as part of culture, when I was little, I want to say like 3 or 4, okay, I had coffee as a kid. Like, I legit had coffee in a little, there used to be this little plastic cup. I remember it clear as day. It's a little green plastic cup that you would hold and it was more milk than coffee, but you were gonna have coffee. And you're usually gonna have it with either pan con mantequilla, which is bread and butter, or galletitas con mantequilla, crackers and butter. And it was the best thing ever. And till this day, I give my kids coffee and they're okay. They're perfectly fine. They even have a better day in school. They're better humans to their teachers because of it. So you're welcome. I'm just saying. Also, when you go to Puerto Rico, as a custom, it's a custom that if you go and visit either a family member, whoever you're visiting, you're gonna get offered a cup of coffee everywhere you go. Te hago un cafecito. You want a cafecito? Would you like a cafecito? Everywhere you go, you're gonna get offered a cup of coffee, and you can't say no. You can't. Just say gracias, sí, gracias, and that's it. All right, so my milk is starting to do its thing. So now I'm just gonna start kind of agitating it. Let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. I'm just gonna start agitating it. My coffee, I'm smelling something. Something's happening over there. It's happening. But you just want to keep agitating your milk. And it's so simple, right? But some people, if you wanted to, which we kind of skipped because this will now be my third cup of coffee, you could do a little pinch of salt and a little pinch of nutmeg into your greca, into your coffee pot. Once you do the coffee, the grounded coffee, you can add a little pinch of salt and a little pinch of nutmeg and put it to boil the very same way. And it just kind of enhances the flavor of the coffee. So keep that in mind for maybe your morning coffee, your morning latte. That's what we're gonna call it. No, le vamos a decir cafecito. Es un cafecito, okay? That's what it is. All right, it's doing its thing. Gisette, does anyone else have any other questions?
Does anybody have any other questions for Omi?
Well, it's not about the coffee, although I'm dying for a cup of coffee now, but it's about teachers being supportive. Right now I have 3 brand newcomers. One is from Taiwan and 2 are from one's from Guatemala and the other's from Honduras. What would be the number one thing that you would think, Omi, that we can do to make them feel welcomed and comfortable and supported?
I think asking questions, really asking, like, especially right now, right? We're walking into holiday season. What are some of the things that they're gonna miss from home? What are some of the things that they're looking forward to celebrating their house? They could very well be that maybe they're celebrating on a different day, like, or maybe they do it completely different from how we do it, right? Or how it's done in the US. So I think asking those questions, I think might really help to start getting that connection going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. Is there a particular teacher that you like absolutely remember 110%, you know, now as an adult, and you feel like have helped mold you to the person that you are today?
Yeah. That would be Mr. Guillén for me. Mr. Guillén was Cuban, and he was my English teacher. And he completely understood that when I'm thinking in both languages. I wasn't just thinking in the one language, and that certain words I would maybe jack up because I was thinking of it in Spanish as opposed to English. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, coming here at 11 and then only traveling to Puerto Rico during the summers, It made me the same way with Spanish. So just throwing that out there, that also happened. But yeah, Mr. Guillem made an impact on me. He knew how to kind of help, and he knew how to correct. And I think it had more to do with the fact that he was also Spanish speaking. But I also remember that I would be able to go to him even for other subjects and for other classes. I was in the 6th grade though. This was in the 6th grade.
Wow, thank you for sharing that.
Are you guys in a classroom? Is everyone in a classroom here?
I'll answer first. I am an ESL middle school teacher. This is my first year doing middle school. I used to do ESL for kindergarten through 4th grade, and now I am doing ESL 4th grade through 8th grade. So what I do is I could either go into the classroom and pick up students, bring them to my own classroom and give them their ESL services, or I can push in with the homeroom teacher or with the language arts teacher and give them in-class support and, service them ESL that way. I know Mary, if Mary wants to share, Mary's a bilingual teacher.
Hi, yes. So I actually was an ESL teacher for 5 years, which was doing the same thing Gisette was doing. I've taught ESL from 1st grade all the way up to 8th grade. And then this year's my first year being a bilingual teacher. It is a full-time bilingual program, Spanish bilingual. So I teach full-time Spanish. So everything in Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah, and most of the time, the parents ask like, how is that supporting my child? I want my child to learn English and so on and so forth. I mean, they do get English support in the classroom. We do have an ESL teacher. Not only that, but I've been an ESL teacher for so long that I also support them in English as well. I kind of give them a little push. But I feel like ESL and bilingual are two completely separate worlds. Like they're just,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually would do anything. I'd pay anything for my kids to have one Spanish teacher, just one, so that I am not the only person speaking Spanish in the household, which that's the case right now. And so my boys butcher the Spanish. It's the epidemic of yo no sabo. Like it's terrible. No sabo. I don't know.
I actually, the funny thing is that you have 3 boys, right?
Yeah.
I have 3 girls. And yo no sabo is part of my life too. And I'm like, oh my God, now I'm a bilingual teacher. Like I have to teach my own kids Spanish. So I know sometimes I try to have the conversations that I have at work at home so that they can stop saying yo no sabo and start saying yo no sé. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So,
and so even as a parent, right? I also did not know that you could select your child to have one specific class in Spanish, like other than Spanish class, right? Like let's say like Spanish 101. Besides that, you could also do like dual language. I had no idea that dual language was available to me for my boys. And I think that that's also another way to get the parents involved too, is to kind of just give them those little things that I like to think that I'm pretty involved with my kids' schools. That I have 3 different schools: elementary, middle school, and high school. And so it's not easy to try to keep everybody, in check. But I like to think that I'm pretty involved and I stay on top of everything. But I wish I knew of those they're like little things that you wouldn't think of that a parent would need to know, but We need to know. So my milk is looking awesome. I wish you guys could see the frothiness. The level of froth here is like something else. It's so frothy. And now I can turn everything off. And add la cantidad de café que me diga mi corazón. Oh, this is gonna be, hold on, because I want to show you the froth. It's the froth that you need to see. Because it's not café con leche without the froth. So I can't really see. Probably not gonna be able to really see. That's my froth. That's it. Un cafecito con leche que me va a caer de lo más bien. This is gonna be the best cup of coffee today.
That was so great. Thank you so much, Omi. I think that we really needed your full of lifeness right now, especially during SGL time. My teachers know what I'm talking about. Anybody else has any other question for Omi? No? Any comments?
If I was closer, I would stop by and have that tacita de café with you, with you.
I would love
But we're a few
that.
states away.
I would join you too. That was fabulous.
Awesome. It's literally my life savior. What time is it? 5:17. I'm gonna be just fine.
Awesome.
I got mine ready here. I'll be
Oh,
making
your
mine in a
Greca's
few.
fancy. You got a fancy Greca. I love it.
Oh, I can't. Thank you, negro.
Thank you so much, Omi, for spending your afternoon with us. We're truly honored. And I think that I speak for all of us. I think I gained, even though I am Hispanic, I don't know everything, right? I don't know everything about every culture. I definitely gained some insight as to, you know, making those connections with our students. And you know, seeing it from the other side as to what made you connect to that one teacher, right, that molded you maybe into the person that you are today. Definitely need more moments like this where as an educator, you start feeling a little more motivated and empowered, right, to go back tomorrow, which is Wednesday, hump day, and just push through the rest of the week, right? So thank you again, Omi. You're absolutely amazing. I'm so excited to start play. I think I'm gonna get one of those like Amazon Alexas in my kitchen and just start playing your videos. Like, what is Omi menu for today, right? So if there are no more questions or no more comments, I want to share the Google Doc form that everybody has to fill out prior to leaving the meeting. We also have, I'm going to share my screen really quick. We also have the wheel of names of participants that, hold on a sec, sorry, that are attending. Oh, I don't know why I can't share it. Hold on a sec. Share. So I have the names of the participants who are attending so that we can choose a name. I'm going to put the Google form in the chat in the meantime as I get my system preferences in order so that I can share my screen.
I think it's already in the chat. The form?
Yeah, that form. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat again just in case anybody missed it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't share my screen, so I'm just gonna spin this wheel. I have Marianne, Christine, Melanie, Claire, Sandra, Tiffany, and Lauren here. Did I miss anybody? All right. I'm gonna click to spin. Hold on, I'm gonna record it with my phone. I'm gonna click to spin. All right, let's see who's the winner of that $25 gift card to Teachers Pay Teachers. So close. Lauren, you won. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Congrats, Lauren.
You get $25 to Teachers Pay Teachers. Definitely put your email in the chat and we'll make sure to send that over to you.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Thank you. I was just on there earlier for some ideas. So yay.
So all those saved to wish list might just come true.
Right. Yay.
I just need to say how much I appreciate what you guys do as teachers, and what you do matters so much to mold and to shape our kids outside of the house, outside of the household. I know it starts in the home, but you guys also create such wonderful memories for them, and you make such a difference in the outcome of who they can be in the future. So please don't think for one second that what you do is insignificant or doesn't matter, or you're not. I know it's hard some days are better than others, but just know that there's always going to be a kid out there that you definitely touched, and that you will always know that you made a difference in their lives. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much.
And thank you once again for everything, Omi, for sharing your passion, you know, for your culture, your heritage, your children, your family, everything. We're really grateful. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. I can't wait. I look forward to sharing more videos and recipes with my children now, and just, getting them excited in a different, platform.
Awesome.
And she's so approachable, because I reached out to her on Instagram a few months ago about the best place in Rhode Island to take my son. And she told me the Roger Wheeler Beach State Park. And so she'll answer you. You reach out to her, email, Instagram, and she will. So thank you for that.
Thank you. All right, ladies, have a great day. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Great night,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Thank you for attending.
Okay, so can I just ask someone? I'm on my phone, so I can't do the Google Doc right now.
Okay.
Who?
It's Marianne.
Marianne, can you shoot me an email? I know who you are. I'll just write it down and then I can send you via email the link so that you can complete.
Sure. So it's marianne.russo@plps.org.
At what?
At PLPS, Pompton Lakes Public Schools.
Okay, .org.
And,
all right.
Yeah, and you know what? It's Marianne with, it's one word. It's MARIANNE.
Okay, I got it. I'll shoot you an email.
All right. Listen, she is absolutely beautiful. Here it is, 5:30 in the afternoon, and she looks fabulous. I didn't even turn my camera on because I can't compete with that. But that coffee was beautiful. It's so nice to see all that. Great pick for the meeting. Great way to end the day.
Oh, thank you. We were trying. Thank you. You said we were trying to do something a little different, right?
And you succeeded, and it was fun, and it was just simply nice. So that was really good. So
we have many
all right.
more
Well, listen, yes, and I appreciate you sending me the doc because I'm in the car on my phone. I didn't want to miss it, so I knew I had to be driving, so I started on the phone, and I'm like, I'll just take the phone with me.
Marianne, I'm right there with you. My son had hip hop, and I was not going to miss it. So
right, like it's crazy. Like you're always running in 6 directions, and I'm like, I'm not missing this. So, but thank you very much for sharing everything. Thank you for having the meeting, and honestly, she is an inspiration that she looks that beautiful at home. I want to get there.
At 5 o'clock. I know I'm still striving to that.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy.
And
all right,
she's
thanks for sending it.
3. I don't know how she does it because I'm a mom of 3 and I look homeless right now.
No, you don't. You don't, honestly. But I love the head, the hair, and the whole way she has it. So, but listen, thanks for sending me the doc because I didn't want to miss out on that either.
Absolutely, anytime. That's what we're here for, to support each other.
All right, great. Have a great day, ladies.
You too.
You too.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Too,
Bye.
thanks.
Hey,
Right.
great job, ladies.
And our winner, Lauren, is still here. Yay, Lauren's gonna be able to get some stuff to help her students from Guatemala and Honduras, right?
I'm still on mute. Hold on.
Oh, no, we can
Oh,
hear
I'm
you.
not on mute. I'm not on mute. My dog is here, so I kept muting. Yes, I have, I'm at Butler High School this year, so I switched from elementary to a high school. So I am definitely transitioning. It's I'm struggling with the content piece, like making content accessible. So yes, teachers pay teachers will definitely come in handy. I was looking for a periodic table of elements the other day for a biology class, just like with more visuals, and it's tough.
Most of the time as ESL teachers, we end up having to create our own stuff, which is time consuming, and then we spend
Yeah.
so much money. And we get it, completely understand.
Yeah.
I get it. Yep.
Yeah. All right, I have to go pick up a son from a soccer game. So thank you again for the gift certificate, and I really enjoyed the meeting. She was great. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of your
Bye.
week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Mary, do you want to stop recording?
Yes, I'll stop recording now.